All right, all right. I see that the people is getting hyped up a bit on the chat. All right, guys. So I would like to welcome all of you today to the live discussion and a small part of AMA, together with the co-founder, one of the co-founders from 4SPOTS. As you all already know, I'm Alexander. She's Alina, our CFO from PathFund, and today we have with us Yog, who is as I've said before, the co-founder of 4SPOTS. As you all know, we are very excited to be collaborating with 4SPOTS for the development of our launchpad, and we couldn't be more excited about this. And I hope that during this meeting you will find out why we are so excited about it. I'll let Yob introduce himself and have a few words.
Thank you. First of all, apologies for the delay, and there was a bit of a glitch. So now we are back live. So yeah, as a long introduction already being given. So what I'm going to do is to just present and take you through a little bit about myself and 4SPOTS, especially our story. So hopefully, yeah, you will like it. So my name is Yog Shrusti. I'm co-founder of 4SPOTS. Pretty much evolved around tech and marketing. I'm an avid traveler and I love to bike. So I've traveled the world with my bike. Um, and yeah, pretty much like in that space and try to keep it low profile, but the biking scene doesn't let me. I hope you guys can see my screen anyway.
Yeah, I'm
So
checking the page and it's all up there.
it's there. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So a little bit about 4SPOTS. How can I start our story? We started in 2006, way back, and you know, our story starts from a very depleted place. Um, you can see that orange one. To actually hide the cracks, we were painting them so that no one sees. We started with our two-person office, me and Rashmi, and then in a couple of years after we moved to World Trade Center, the team started increasing. Partners started joining hands. A lot of people supported us in that journey. We were like growing literally at a crazy rate. Yeah, and then eventually we thought like we would move to an island, with a beachfront office, and that's where we are currently. I'll leave you with some of the images, but the main story of 4SPOTS is about people. A lot of partners, a lot of individuals who supported our story along the way. This support actually led us to believe that we can, and that came into like a success story which we have written for last 5 to 6 years with a massive growth. That gave us a lot of awards. We pretty much have got most of the international awards on our pocket, and I remember like W3 especially, we were designing for Bahrain International Circuit, which was assigned for Formula One. We did quite a great job there. Tried to keep more positivity during the bad days in Bahrain, and it came out really awesome, and everybody supported. And since then, we didn't look behind. We kept adding new team members. A lot of people joined our team who are really talented. We kept assigning really good amount of work to them, and they kept delivering. So that led to I would say like a very great bag of clients, right? Some regional, some international, and some local clients. Some prominent names like we had really great experience working with Red Bull, learned a lot with their specific brand guideline and very tough one. Worked well with Infinity, did a couple of really great campaign with Nissan, the likes of Lexus, some local partners like Zane and STC, and whenever we work with any client, we don't look at a point of how big they are. we look like where we add value, like, you know. So that led to really like a nice ecosystem where everybody can participate, everybody can contribute, and everybody can take benefit out of it. And that story is being written, and obviously that led to one of the most crucial one, and you are familiar with some of the guys who are joining, probably not from PathFund. The community need an explanation, but that led to a partnership with PathFund. um, we are now tasked to do a DApp, and so whatever you are going to see in the Launchpad DApp is going to be designed, developed, and yeah, going to be floated. Um, I just want to take a little bit time, obviously, to show you where we are at the moment in terms of adoption of technology. This is for US, but possibly is a reflection around the world as well. Like if you look at almost many things like TV and telephone has almost touched 100% adoption, and you can see that little icon for Bitcoin is where we are. So we can really be proud of as a community, for those already watching, that this is such a massive amount of adaptation yet to be met. And so you all guys are literally winners already, because if you look at this, like we are just in 13.5% of early adopters, in like minus the innovators, right? So that means, give and take 15%, 85% is still yet to find, let's say, a project like PathFund, right? What would happen if these 85% find, right? So that will lead to a tremendous growth. So that's the way you should visualize these projects as, and look at more in a positive aspect, that you are part of those chosen few or the early adopter few. And if this scene continues, then this is growth for everyone. So that's how we see it, where PathFund is heading towards. This is specifically for people who are not from PathFund community, more from Bahrain and Indonesia, those guys who are joining now. For them, let me just brief you why we are talking about PathFund, or a project like PathFund, and why it makes us so excited. Like every day we see these kind of headlines, right? DeFi 100 coin scam happen, make at finance happen. They didn't even leave some of the billionaires like Mark Cuban. He got also crashed in recently through a project, I think Iron Finance or something like that, right? So these scams are not new in crypto world, and often what happens, we just shove it under the carpet, we move on. But in reality, somebody needed to do something. And why this project is so close to my heart and why we are involved in this is particularly because of this reason. Specifically, PathFund came up with this idea: how can we trust those projects, and how can the normal user can trust if they can see coin scam happening almost on a daily basis, right? So so what's the solution, right? So PathFund has got a pretty clear outline, that if you see a traditional project, right, what do? You do your research, you then go into a, say, CEX or a DEX, and then you go and buy the coin without knowing, say, much about the project. And it's kind of a lottery. You sometimes get lucky, sometimes get scammed, and there are no ways to really do that much of a research for a coin which is like starting early, right? So the bottom line is there are chances of getting scammed, right? With PathFund, what happens? They have come up with a very nice concept. They are doing pre-auditing. They are looking at all those things which you supposed to look, so making it easier. So only those projects which are pre-audited, background check is done, with the various parameters are looked into, and that goes live. So the heavy work which a normal user puts is already done by PathFund, right? So I'm expecting that PathFund is going to be one of such vehicle where the adoption will be increased actually because of PathFund. Why? You obviously know that there are these scam tokens, um, which is like scamming people day in day out. People will move towards launchpads like PathFund, and then eventually will find a way where they constantly invest projects which come through PathFund rather than doing their own research and kind of use it as a lottery to be successful. Okay, so it's, if you look at, like, when Alex and I, we were discussing, we were also looking at this amazing community. Like, I did a bit of a research about the community, and this is such a close knit community. um, they talk often about the next steps, and they're very excited, they are involved in the scheme of things, which is really nice to see, right? So we thought, like, how do we really enable PathFund to really tell a story, right? That's very important for us, like, to tell a story for PathFund. As you all know, like, famous brands, one of them, we handle Red Bull, they like to tell a story, right? So Coke, for example, doesn't talk about the sweet water stuff. It talks about happiness. So whenever you are looking at Coke, it reminds of family, friends, get together, happiness, all those kind of things. And whenever you look at Castrol, for example, it reminds you about that motorsport activity and stuff like that. They don't talk about engine oil, right? So goes with Red Bull, right? Red Bull doesn't talk about whether the drink is good or bad, or whether it is advisable to drink a Red Bull and go to a race, right? But what they're talking about more about an adrenaline rush. So we thought, like, how do we define this story of PathFund with this amazing community which is already there in place? We just have to give them this ample way to express themselves through this brand, right? So yes, you heard it right. We are rebranding PathFund as well. It's not only the DApp. So Alex is also going to speak a bit about it. But from my perspective, when we are looking at, like, PathFund as a launchpad, we're looking at three key aspects when we are going to speak about the brand, right? From investor perspective, if we look at, as I already mentioned, the investors are doing a lot of research by themselves and getting scammed often, and they are not having trust over new tokens, and that creates an trust deficit for the startups, right? If the investors are given this ample opportunity that all their task, which is supposed to be taken care of by them, is already looked after by PathFund, then they find it confident to invest. So, from our brand perspective, what we are trying to look at is how would we communicate in a way that the investor feels looked after and feels like, I can trust them. So, that kind of brand perspective we'll bring in, and hopefully, very soon you will see the brand. And from the startup perspective, we are looking at, like, if I have to tomorrow approach PathFund, I'm obviously going to look at how they add value to me, right? So I'm going to look at, like, um, how many investors are there in the group, and am I struggling currently by going through some other channels or competition, and I should have just walked into PathFund so that they can do a bit of a marketing for me, and they can look at whether I have kept some rooms knowingly or unknowingly, and if that can be just looked after, so that a lot of investors can come in. And then the ecosystem perspective, we are not looking PathFund as like a launch pad. We are looking it literally like an ecosystem. What we are seeing today is what you are already saying, that there is a launch pad coming up, and we're designing that. We will make it live soon. But that's one side of the story. What we are looking at is how do we communicate in a way that the investor feels What we are really looking at is the possibilities which is not seen yet, right? PathFund is not going to keep quiet. It's going to add a lot of features. We are brainstorming on a regular basis with Alexander. Community has given a lot of suggestions as well, and it's continuously going to happen now. So it's not just going as a small launch pad or something like that. So that's the brand perspective we have at the moment. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Jörg, for the presentation.
Alex,
It
you
was
can hear me?
yeah. I can hear you. Everybody could hear you. It was a wonderful presentation. I'm glad that you've touched some subjects that we've discussed about in our meetings, and yeah, I mean the way that we see the collaboration between us is, and I think everybody should know this, is not like a simple business collaboration. We didn't look for the cheapest company to do a launchpad or to work with. We were really looking to see that if we are sharing each other's vision, like how can we start from something and let's see where it takes us. Let's see if we share the same core ideas, the same core values, and the same vision for the future. Because it's not just, oh, let's do a DApp together. It's a lot more than that. This can be a very important part of the change that has to happen from us as early adopters of crypto.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I will just extend what you said. Like, end of the day, um, if if our goal is same, like, and we're looking to really improve these three aspects we talked about, right? How can we give more assurance to the investors? How can you give more assurance to the startup that they find it that easier to launch here, and then look after the community, right? So that cannot really happen under one project or kind of like in one agreement. It's much more than that. More importantly, it is like um, taking the cues from the community and implementing more important stuff for them, so that they feel like part of the family as well. And then we extend the partnership beyond just completing a DApp, so yeah.
yeah, yeah, and in the end, as you've said, it's more than just a DApp. And the way that we see it, like we are making things easier for everybody, like for each crypto investor, because the scams nowadays are kind of getting trickier and trickier to be spotted. And you see contracts that may seem okay, and the teams that are looking okay, but one malicious function and it can turn the whole project upside down. We've had a recent example in the community, I think either yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm not going to give them their names, so I won't make them even more known than they are right now. But the scam rate right now is pretty alarming, and it's getting trickier even for more development inclined people to spot the scams. So I can imagine how it is for the end user.
Yeah,
Um,
and from the startup perspective as well, right? When I'm approaching any of the launch pad, I have to work double hard to convince them I'm not one of those scam tokens, right?
yeah,
But with PathFund, I can apply as a startup and really look at like pre-audited, having that some sort of an assurance that yeah, I did well with my coding, and I haven't left anything open for exploitation, and that leads to that ecosystem growth.
yeah, I totally agree here with you. Also, you've mentioned like, yeah, indeed, the ecosystem is a key feature for us and for the future of the project. And I think that together, all of the things that we are having now and the path that we have chosen to say so, like pre-vetting other projects and creating a startup-like system. We also have something that's very interesting, and I'm not sure any other project has it or is not known to me yet. But we have one group of the whales in the project, and they're always looking like, hey, how can I help? How can I do that? But we also have a buyers alliance group created from one of our holders, and they are always looking into ways like, hey, how can we help the project? Like, let's make a ton of videos. Let's all buy together at some point at a certain hour, and all of these things came naturally, but indeed they are creating a very good ecosystem and a very healthy one as we see it today.
Yeah, I heard about the Alliance group. Actually, the moment I heard, I think you mentioned or someone mentioned in the chat. So the moment I heard about Alliance group, I was thinking like, yeah, they would be a nice focus group testers. They can really give the input where we really require. I mean, in any aspect of the development is a collaboration. It's not like literally one person's job, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we think that we are the experts, we got it right, but no, it's more about how the other person thinks, right? So, a lot of such inputs are really essential for the growth of the project. So, we will talk. I'm actually looking forward to talk to these guys and get their input when we are done to show something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would be glad to, and I'm certain that this is a big news that they were not expecting at the moment for the Alliance Group. But yeah, they will be a key part in the future of our development and user experience and certain aspects regarding the project. I'm sure they will love to participate in it because it's not an opportunity that you get every day, neither for us, neither for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And then having that base as well, user base, makes you feel like you're not alone in the world of crypto, right? When you are doing a development, you think like, is it that what I got it right? So you just want kind of a reassurance also from the people who are going to use, because often we take things for granted. I'm not going to go into the user experience and stuff, which will come probably in some AMAs sometime. But in general, people's participation is very important than certain individuals who are designing.
Yeah, totally, totally. And I think the rebranding will also play a key part here because I'm sure that based on all the discussions that we've had regarding everything, I'm sure it will speak volume. Like it will speak very, very loud and by itself. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's I have a gut feeling that it's going to look really great, but we need to translate those. We need to translate and then show it. And sometimes it's coming.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not going to give any cues, but yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. We already know the story. Well, when we were brainstorming, the best part of pathfund, like from a, if I just keep myself little far from the community, is the community itself, right? People are coming together to make it successful, and which in my years of going through crypto and blockchain project, I'm finding it that the essence of pathfund, for some reason, for me, I connect to their community. Like, it has got a very nice niche community, close knit family kind of community. So yeah, looking
yeah.
forward to.
I'm sure. I mean, it's one thing, guys. If you have questions, you can address them in the chat, and we will take a look at them also. But yeah, one thing I wanted to add here. Indeed, in crypto nowadays, it's very easy to find a shilling community or a hype community, but that will stay with you for 2 days. But what we have here is a very supportive and united community that's been with us for 2 months, and they only increased their activity and efforts and energy. It's like a never-ending source of energy, either also for us, but for them too, and
Yeah,
it has a mutual benefit.
the keyword also is like I kept saying in my last meeting with you is how can we make people take an informed decision, right? Whether they are investors or startup, right? They need to be informed always, right? What they are getting into. So through the use of the DApp or through the any of the community participation program, we are going to give a lot of those information, which is going to then be an input for them to make that informed decision, and that's where we are keeping it.
Yeah. I mean, as you have seen until now, we've tried to educate the community through our social media, and we've tried to use our reach that we are having now in everybody's advantage. Like, okay, not only that we are going to develop a launchpad in something is going to be live in Q4, but until then, let's pave our road with information regarding how can end users avoid scams and how can they avoid drugs, how can they spot malicious activity, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, each community members are playing their role in there, right? Because I mean, how far we can reach as individuals. If I'm going to educate 10, and thousands of you are educating another thousands, that's where the awareness increases, and so as the adoption. Uh, that is the main reason I said that adoption, right? Adoption is
Yeah.
going to be really a key for Pathfund, because the community is going to take that to a common you and me, to say, you know what, instead of being scared of investment, right? Because everyone knows, if you are involved in a startup, it's like a venture capital, right? So your risks are higher, so as the returns, right? So our job is basically minimize that risk as much as possible, right? So Pathfund is very nicely placed there, right? And it starts behaving like a venture capital more than just a launchpad, right? Because you're building an ecosystem and you are giving that assurance to both parties. That's what the venture capitalists do, and so I look at from the macro perspective and feel very happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think our first AMA was the first one. When I did the first AMA, I think we've touched a bit of this subject, like how it can be a business and how it can be seen as a business, and how it will operate as a business. And yeah, I mean, people should really see it that way. Like, you are indeed investing into something that is very early, so the risks are high in theory, but we have given you all the assurance that there are literally the usual risks are not there, so it's as safe as any stock investment in the end, or even better. I see now something in the chat from one of our guys here. How do you think the partnership with 4SPOTS will get the message out to the world? I mean, from my perspective, and I think Yog will relate to it. Um, For sports partnership, as I've said before, it's not just, hey, let's build something together. It's like, let's build an ecosystem together, and not build an app, but let's build something real together. The message that is sent out there is, in our opinion, a very big message that this is the start of a long and game-changing journey from our perspective.
Yeah, from my perspective, is when I look at Pathfund and where it is, I keep saying possibilities, right? And this is the possibility. Possibility is that we need to move on. We need to move to the next step. We need to keep building things, right? So I look at from a perspective where 4SPOTS is encouraging Pathfund to keep building new things and not really stay silent for a limited period of time, for you know even if it means like I'm not putting months, but these are the things we are looking at. We keep giving ourselves small goals and we tick those boxes, so there is movement always, right? So community like to see movement, so as the players, like the investors and startup entrepreneurs, they like to see that there is movement, whether it is a dab or the things we have already planned, which is not to be disclosed so soon. But those are the things, right? We need to
Yeah,
keep building, and that's what the partnership is about. And when you said that it's ecosystem, this is where we both of us we agree, right? It's ecosystem. It's not a launch pad. It's not just like a DApp or a rebranding exercise. It's much more than that. So that's where I think we will add our value. But um, I'm not trying to be humble, but it's not us. It's the whole community. Um, Pathfund guys already doing so much. We are just trying to be a contributor to this. I mean, we are not trying to be the player, the major player. We are a contributor to this cause. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, and I know we've had a lot of we've had I think two discussions about this, like how we can start from something, but then you can just keep on adding up. Like once you have the momentum, it's just going to go by itself, and you will always want to do more.
Absolutely, and also with having a vibrant community, you are constantly getting input.
Yeah,
In my experience, some of the input which comes from community are well thought of, really nice, and it's and we don't dismiss those as like we are experts. Right? We are not experts. We are taking those cues and building on them, and see from their perspective why do they think that this should be included. So we take forward that narrative and repackage them in a way that everybody feels connected. Like um, we are stealers, I think, in that aspect.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the community really plays an important part, and we have one update from today that I don't think anybody, or at least everybody's seen it already, but some of you know about it. We have our website translated into Arabic, Farsi, Japanese, and Chinese. I think we are the first crypto project that adopts this tactic of reaching out to several different markets and making their project available there. I mean, the
Yeah,
community
I'm
really
already
plays.
seeing that. I'm already seeing that. Like I was aware of the Japanese group and the Indonesian group very actively. I was aware when I was looking at the brand exercise. Yeah, it's amazing, and it's also throws us a very good challenge, right? How to make a brand which is widely accepted, with people having different viewpoints, with different cultures and different style of appreciation. Like, for example, like the Japanese love to read, and
Yeah.
the Arab culture is to see, and so how do we come up with things which is merging these two different cultures and realign them into one brand? It's a challenge, but it's really interesting. It's not like it's not that. I mean, it's more fun if you look at, like, I really like that, taking cues from culture and put it in a brand so it speaks to everyone. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We have. I've seen now something in the chat like if this partnership with you guys would mean that from now on you would be our choice as a developer for future projects. And I know that we've spoken about this during our first meeting. Like, and it's kind of an info that is okay to be made public. I think, of course, 4SPOTS will be our developer, our go-to company as a choice for future projects because we trust them, and as she said in the past meeting, we would trust them with our baby, and our baby in this case is PathFund. So of course, we would recommend 4SPOTS for future project developments because if we can work together to achieve our goal, and it's a big one, I'm sure they can work together with the other projects as well, and we can all get to achieve great things.
Yeah, no, Alex, like we already spoke a couple of times on this, and thank you for the trust. And also, the community has shown that trust, right? But I would still put a lot of KPIs on the team. You know that how I work.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, let the performance speak as well. Like, but end of the day, our goal is the same. This baby need to run. So we need to put all our efforts to make sure that is running smoothly, without any, yeah, no glitch.
Yeah, I'm sure that at the end this baby will run the marathon. I have no doubt about that. I think we have one final one. If the timeline for Q4 for our launchpad is an achievable one for 4SPOTS, I'm gonna let you speak on this one.
Interesting, very clever question. We don't want to miss any timeline. That's that's the foremost thing, right?
Yeah,
Without compromising a bit on quality. That's why we are engaging constantly. We like that pressure as well, and it's really amazing that the community is aware that it's Q4, because this is the first thing we were discussing internally, that timeline and targets are most important thing. But instead of just giving to you guys and like in Q4, hey guys, we have completed everything, we will give in bits and pieces. So you are well aware of the progress. We'll keep you updated. And Alex, I already have seen that he constantly talks to the community, and yeah, he's kind of a portal for that progress monitoring. So yeah, um, but to answer your question directly, we are well aware of the timeline, and that's a strict policy. We got to meet the timeline.
yeah. I mean, thank you for answering this. It, for sure, and this is one of the reasons why we from the start didn't say an exact date, like, hey, we want the launchpad then. No, let's put it in Q4 because Q4 can mean until the end of the year, and I'm not saying it's going to take until the end of the year, but let's not be like, okay, let's have a schedule and let's have everything organized, but let's not have a fixed date because the date is not the most important one. The final product is, and the better the
Yeah.
final product is, the date doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, um, we are obviously, like we had a chat, Alex. We are not taking the excuse of the months. We like to give a quality product, yeah, and we want to give it like, if not on time, a bit before, at least a bit before. So then the community gets the chance to test it, and we have some nice plans to show them.
Yeah,
Yeah, you will keep watching the space. There are some interesting things coming over these couple of months. We'll interact a lot, and then we'll keep bugging you guys.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure the community is going to love what will come up in the next few months. And judging by the chats that I'm seeing now on Twitch, looks like the community has adopted and is already loving you a lot. Like, I'm seeing comments like, "Hey, Yogi's a superstar," and I like how this guy is thinking, and I like the vision.
Thank you so much. Like, I appreciate. I have already seen some of the chats you guys do. Like, you're really like a close knit family, and then time and again you're proving that you guys are really good. And just you know you can always communicate, like we are here to hear. We love that communication, because it's very important to have that dialogue and ensure that the project is a successful one. And it's not one man's job, as I told before. And I really appreciate that you guys are already taking such steps, and you will continue helping us. We will, whenever we are in that dual mind, we will shoot you some questions. So so this is how we want to fall back on the community so that they can help us, so that we can
Yeah.
go to the next steps. Yeah.
I mean, when we say and when everybody says that, hey, the community really plays an important part in projects, that's not just something that's nice to say. Community really plays one of the a huge part. Yeah, I mean, it really plays a huge part because if you have a good community, you have a great feedback, and if you have great feedback, you also have support, and if you have support, you don't have to worry about the nonsense stuff, and you can focus on your mission, and you can focus on your goal, and you can do the best that you can each day without having much worries, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% agree this. Like, I do see this as like a body and soul. If I philosophically speaking, right? So community is the soul of the project. Like it's defined. If you can see some of the projects already which are successful one, I don't want to name them, but you have seen the successful projects which has got massive community, and that's why they're successful, right? And in PathFund's community, I have observed that attribute to be a successful project, and that's why I told you from day one I love this project, and I've really put my effort. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it could be seen until now, and I'm sure that the guys will see why we are so excited about the collaboration. I'm sure they will understand soon. But yeah, I'm sure they will be as excited as we are if they are not already very, very soon about all of this.
yes, I hope so, and we will keep giving you some Easter eggs so
Yeah.
that you will be excited about it. Yeah,
All right.
I want to say something. I see a lot of comments where you are asking me to talk, but I have to tell you that these guys are so amazing that I don't want to take their chance to tell everything they have to tell you.
yeah. I mean, I have seen that already in our meetings too, right? But
I'm
um,
absorbing information and your great energy.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is how the teams work, right? They complement each other and then try to achieve. It makes it a lot easier once you are committed to a project. You're the face of the project and you are committed. This is really nice to see. And thus takes the project a long way. Like one of my top parameter whenever I invest in any of the cryptocurrency project, I want to see people. Who are they? Who are they actually, right? Because you don't want to put a mask, and none of us are putting a mask, right? So we want to be committed to the project. We want to be questioned if we don't deliver, and we will do on the way, we will do some mistake, but we will also have guts to come back and say we have made any mistake and correct and move on to the next, so that's how it works. And yeah, thank you for that complimenting characteristics in the team already. Really, really nice to see.
Yeah, here I really agree with you, Yog. To succeed doesn't mean that you have to take a road where you never fail. To succeed means that whenever you fail, you have to get back up and try again and do it. You can fail now 9,000 times on the way of doing it, but if you're not quitting, then you are winning. Unless you are giving up on the road, fail
Absolutely.
is normal.
I wouldn't like to add anything. This is an absolute thing you spoken. And this is how the sentiments are.
I know. I mean, yeah, I don't want to share any more insights from our meetings, to be honest. But yeah, that's how usually the meetings are with us. Um, Thank you so much for accepting this invitation, Yog. It's been a pleasure to talk with you once again. Um, Guys, you as a community are all rock stars in our eyes, and I want to thank you, all of you, for coming live today with us, for sharing your thoughts and feeding us with your energy. I mean, the chat has been buzzing nonstop since we've started, and I'm glad that you are all excited about this collaboration and about yoga as a person as well. It really makes us fills our souls with joy.
Thank you, Alex, for having me. Thank you, Alina. Thank you, the
Thank you.
community. Like, reach out to me sometime if you can, and hopefully I'll pass by the community chats as well sometime. Thank you so much. Really appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, as an ending, don't forget, guys, to check our socials. Don't forget to check out 4SPOTS, because they have really some amazing work, and I'm sure that you will like what they have done until now. So check in with their socials as well. Like, it's amazing. And they have an immense portfolio, and you can really read everything for days and wouldn't stop.
Thank you for the kind words, Alex. Thank you.
Anytime. Um, Anytime, York. So with this one, we are ending. See you guys in the chat. Thank you once again for participating and for being so supportive today. Have a
Thank you.
restful evening. See you
Bye bye,
guys.
guys.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
See ya. Bye.
See you guys.